Oh, I have a bit of a confession to make. I've taught at the university for over 10 years. I've taught 2,000 students, but I am a terrible teacher. And I discovered this one day after I thought I gave the lecture of a lifetime. Every student, 400 of them, were glued to me. And I was so proud of myself. And at the end of the lecture, I swear I saw a couple of students tear up. And so now I'm at the end of the lecture and I'm feeling so good. And a couple of students approach the podium and they say, "Anthony, we loved your lecture today. We are so excited about this class." And my heart is just exploding with joy. This is what every teacher wants. And as I'm continuing to put my things away, there's a student in the back of the auditorium, the last one there. She's got black hair pulled back in a ponytail, dressed up business casual, and she comes marching down to the front of the podium. And I thought to myself, oh, she's just a bit shy. She just didn't want to compliment me in front of everyone else. And I'm waiting for the shower of praise. And she comes up to me with this notebook. And she looks me straight in the eye and she says, "Anthony, I made a list of all the things you did wrong today." And my reaction was, "Oh, thank you so..." Wait a minute, what? That was the start of my journey as a leader. That day, the student Katie, she wasn't there just to make me a better teacher. She was there to make me a better leader. I want you to imagine now, Katie and I are back at my office, and I'm sitting there with all of my fancy professor books behind me and my fancy professor chair, and she's sitting down there on a little stool. And I say, "Katie, fine, walk me through this little list of yours." And she opens up her notebook to the first page, and she starts in with, "Well, you started class 15 minutes late because you were messing around with your computer." And it was everything in my power not to roll my eyes at her. And I just said, "Okay." And then she went on. And then you mentioned a term in the middle of the class, but you didn't define it, so nobody knew what you were saying, you were talking about. And I kind of said to myself, I gotta address this next class. And I said, "Fine, what else you got?" And she said, "Then at the end of class, you said, 'Oh, there's just one more thing,' 7 times in a row." And at that point, I just kind of blacked out because she turned the page and there was a whole nother column of criticisms, and every one of them was like a punch in the face. My ego was taking a battering. I was suffering and struggling. And the only thing that brought me back into reality was there was a tram outside of my office, and it honked at somebody crossing in the street, and it snapped me in, and I'm looking at her, and I'm growing more and more irritated and angry and upset at each of these criticisms. And I started to imagine her as this little buzzing, flying mosquito, just zzzz, and you just want to bat it away. And then my brain took one more step and it said, "She's not just a mosquito, she's a baby mosquito. She's a little baby mosquito wearing diapers." That's how annoying she was in that moment for me. And as I'm ready to just put her in her place, flex my authority as her teacher, as her professor, as the man who will give her a grade in 3 short weeks, ready to show her who's boss, it all of a sudden clicked. This is not a mosquito. This is an incredibly brave woman. This is someone who is sitting there speaking her truth to power and holding her space. And in that realization, she transformed right before my eyes. She was no longer this annoying little mosquito. She transformed into a superhero. A superhero because she was there to help me be better and do better. And I started to reimagine her then as Captain Marvel. Do we know this movie, Captain Marvel? Yeah? It's about a superhero, a woman who gains superpowers at the beginning of the movie. And her mentor, her teacher, tries to put her in a box and hold her down and oppress her. And at the end of the movie, she just breaks free and she stands in her own truth. And I realized I was facing a dilemma. I could either put her in her place, or I could choose to shut up. I could choose to listen. And that decision made me the leader I am today. That decision is why I'm on the stage today. That decision was the most inclusive and empowering thing I could have done at that moment. And it changed the course of history for me. It gave me a chance to show people what listening can do to help include diverse voices. So the takeaway I want you to walk out of here with is we as leaders, as people in positions of privilege and power, we need to shut up so that our most valuable team members, our innovators, our idea makers do not shut down. We need to shut up so they don't shut down. Can I teach you guys a magic trick? I'm going to teach you the sign language for the word shut up. And I'm teaching you this so that you can teach your leaders, so that you can teach your teams how to gesture to you when you're taking up all the space. And it's a very easy gesture. Do we know the chef's kiss Italian gesture? Can we all do this together so I know that you know that I know that you know that? Yes, all right. So it's open palm and then chef's kiss to the corner of your mouth. This is a sign language gesture for shut up. So I want you to promise me you'll teach your teams, you'll teach your leaders how to do this so that when you're looking at them in a meeting like this, they know it's their turn to shut up so that you or someone in your team doesn't shut down. So what do we do when someone like me is just using up all the space in the room? Let's do it all one last time together. Here we go.